Okay, hello everyone. Here I am, and Restream has a completely new format, so it's going to be interesting. All right, I think I am good to go. Hi, Catherine. I'm getting reoriented towards this new form layout that they have on the website, and it's like I've got to scroll all over the place to see the chat messages. So if I pull up the chat messages, I can't really see myself. Anyways, so and Diana, hi from London. Hello. So we'll just get started, and I'll just orient. But it doesn't matter because it's not on here. The real juice is happening in the ethers, anyways, on the non-physical level. So we're good to go. So everybody, so let's take a nice deep breath in, hold it, and then just release. Let all the past, everything that's before this present moment, just clear it out. Let it go. Let go of it. And just kind of getting settled into yourself as you release the breath. Just feeling yourself just kind of getting more settled into present moment, present time. This is the only place and time that we are. Everything else is either we're thinking of somewhere else, it's another reality, we're in some other time space, we're in the past, or we're in the future. And none of those other things exist for us. So me right here, you right where you are. So letting yourself just get oriented to that. And format's going to be a little bit different today. There's a sense that there's a need to change the format. Part of it is people we move forward, things shift, so we shift with and accommodate that shift. But so be aware of your physical environment. Let's kind of just do this slowly. There's a lot that's happening in existence that we need to orient ourselves with. So let's just take this, a little slowly today. So look around, look at your environment, look at what's in your physical environment. Be aware of what's in your physical environment. What's behind you, what's in front of you, to the sides. And just notice, take a minute to just notice those things. And let your breathing kind of relax as you do that. And if you're thirsty like me just now, notice that sensations in your mouth. Notice yourself picking up the bottle of water or the cup or whatever and bringing that to your mouth and drinking it. So it's like, let's slow the movie down here. Take another nice deep breath in when you feel that inclination coming up. You don't have to wait for me to tell you that. When you feel that, then follow that. Feel that coming from within. And if it feels like it's coming not from within, like not from your body, wanting that in breath, notice that. Is it coming from something in your head? What's triggering that if it's not coming from your body, needing the breath? Where's that coming from? What's that trigger? And then just noticing the breath. How does it feel like to take that breath in? Fill up those lungs. Does it hit a point where it feels like it's just tight and or you're hitting against something somehow, and probably your lungs aren't really full yet. They might be half full, but not 100% full. So if you notice that, or if you notice a constriction to the in-breath when you reach a certain point of taking in air, just notice that, become aware of that. The same on the out-breath. As you're exhaling, how deep does the exhale go? Does it go all the way to the bottom? Probably not, because you kind of have to like contract yourself and kind of push in, and tighten up around the lungs to exhale completely. So sometimes even just pulling your shoulders and, crunching yourself up and really forcing that breath up, which you probably aren't doing. So what keeps it from going all the way down? And just notice that. It's like, okay, so that might be an indication. You might notice that might bring your awareness to how deeply or how shallowly you are breathing. So it's not about necessarily changing that or saying, oh, well, I got to breathe more deeply. Let's put that thought aside and just notice how you're breathing. And as you notice your breath, that patterning in your breath, are there any thoughts that come to mind? Are there any memories that come to mind? And it might not be thoughts or memories, it might be just kind of also noticing this feeling that's just off your body, this sensation that's just off your body. That's there. So there's your body, there's the body, and then there's just off the body, there's like this, maybe this layer of something there that comes up as you notice your breath. And if you want to comment on that, if you want to like put in the chat what you're noticing for yourself, feel free to do that. There might be something on your back or something on the front or both. You might be feeling squeezed up this way. Or difficulty breathing, so tightness all of a sudden, internal tightness. Popping in to say hi, gotta go. Hey, Jackie, thanks for stopping by. So we're just going into that awareness of the body. And right now, just focusing on the breath on my top right. So, okay, so notice that. Become aware of that and kind of stay focused on the breathing. So your main awareness, so to speak, is on the breathing. And then with the peripheral awareness, noticing, okay, there's something in the top right there. And just keeping the breathing going. Noticing if there's a pause in between the in and out, or the out and in, in both ends. And noticing what that feels like. Sometimes we get into these breathing patterns where it's just in, out, in, out. So that's a different pattern of breathing. That's happened to me too when I go into like there's a change probably in patterning in the brain. Noticing also, is the in-breath about the same length as the out-breath? And you can count, but don't force yourself to like, okay, I got to breathe in for so many counts, breathe out for so many counts. Just notice, and if you want to count, just to see, just to explore that, go ahead and do that. Just kind of letting the breath be what it is. And I'm noticing. So my sense is there. It's a little bit in the group, but I'm noticing kind of there's kind of this restriction, some kind of restriction around the chest area. It feels like it's off. So there's, yeah, a little bit kind of in the emotional layer level. So working with the auric field, as it's called, the energy field, auric field. There's certain layers in the energy field. It overlaps with the spirit body, but it's at a different level also. Spirit body is very high frequency level and beyond frequency, really. And the auric field, the energy field, is at a denser level, but in occupying the same space, kind of thing. Okay, now that I said that, that's starting to clear up, so that's good. Sometimes just calling attention to something, just saying, it's like, okay, I've noticed there's this heaviness and I feel like I've got this block sitting on my right shoulder. It's like, that's not me. It's like, I don't know what that is, but I know that's not me, because me is the physical body. Okay. And just noticing how you feel right now, noticing how there's, when we start to put attention, really fully put awareness on our body, it's like there's kind of this glow that starts happening. I see it as a glow. You might experience this as warmth, relaxation. That's really kind of that connection to yourself, a deeper connection. And that deeper connection to our physical body brings in more intermingling between our physical selves and our spirit level, or pure essence, pure higher self, pure presence. A lot of levels, but just, I might probably use the word spirit, but to mean that highest aspect of yourself, kind of thing. Might feel it as a tingling that starts to come in. That tingling, because it's like it's waking up. Your awareness is there. It's waking up. So really noticing. So we're still kind of focusing in the upper abdomen cavity. Let's go into the lungs, because I have a sense of there's the awareness is in that outer part of the cavity, which is good. And now let's bring it deeper into the lungs. So follow the air in. As you breathe in, follow the air in and noticing that going into the bronchioles and into the, I don't know all the names of the parts there, but going into the lungs themselves and expanding the lungs. And noticing how that feels, putting your awareness that way into your lungs by following the air. That's an easy way to do it, as opposed to just having your awareness on the breathing. So it's not that one is better than the other. It brings in your awareness to different areas of yourself, of your body. And it's good to bring the awareness into everything within ourselves. Okay. And you might explore that. So take a minute while I'm just kind of working a little bit to just open up the space even more for you. How does it feel if I follow the breath into my lungs and really come into my lungs that way, my awareness to my lungs that way? And then how does that compare to just noticing the breath and the movement of the whole upper abdomen? Okay, Catherine, and you might just notice how that top right feels to you now. See how if it's shifted at all, just by bringing your focus more to internally to yourself. Or maybe it's given a clearer definition of the top right piece. Keep coming to the shoulder for some reason. It's like it almost feels like you got something sitting on your shoulder there. So remember, if it's not your body, if it's on your body, it's not you. It's a patterning, or it could be somebody else. It moved to the shoulder. Yeah, how about that? That does happen. Then you know it's something at the non-physical level, and it could be just some patterning, but and like the pain body moving it around, because it's like no, that's a way to control you. So coming more deeply into those lungs, just say nope. I'm staying focused on my lungs here, focused on my physical body. How about you, Diana? Anything coming up for you as you're focusing on your awareness, as you're focusing your awareness on your breath? And Diana, what I'm going to say is to like come into the center of your head. So pull your focus, your awareness more into your head, and then move it down from there into your upper chest and your cavity and your lung. That's the way to get out of worry. Worry, it's like this frontal lobe thing. When we do a lot of thinking, or we come from a place of learning to think a lot or think as protection, it's going to come right in here. So pulling out of that. So it's a little bit of a patterning there, and I'd have to just keep coming back and forth because you've been getting pulled into here so much. But relaxing back and noticing that. And so when you pull back, it's like this gets all, it's like it's all dark, and then it's lighter back behind that. Yeah, so you're doing better with that now, Diana. So Catherine, so it's moving around on you. So just notice that, and part of that, patterning will also, it's not going to show up in just one place. You're going to have a patterning that runs, through different areas. And so the starting point might have been top right, and then it's like, okay, that's starting to lessen in that area, but there's still like all, further down. So notice that and like really come into that, really bringing that awareness to the breath, focusing in on that breath. So part of what that does is that it pulls you even more into your body. Okay, Kayla, is the energy that seems to be coming in from my front at a new higher reality I'm bringing in, or is it someone's presence I'm bringing in? I've asked and sat with it, and it feels right, but curious your perspective, since you know I've been so open in the past. Yes. Okay, so let's let's keep focusing on our breathing, but let's come into the spine. I'll get to you in a minute, Kayla. You know, and come into noticing the breath as you notice your spine. Okay, so that's going to give you a little bit better sense of three-dimensionality of your body, because there's the spine, and the breathing is impacting your spine, but not as much, because it's the ribs that have a little bit more flexibility of movement, and the spine's going to move, you know, expand a little bit, but we get more of that sense of that expansion with the breath from the ribs. So it's sort of like you awareness on the spine. Yep, there we go. And then while keeping your awareness on the spine, notice that breathing movement that's happening through the rib cage and in front of the spine with the expansion of the lungs. Okay, so Kayla, what I want you to do is really notice. So start with that. Let me give you another minute for that. For again, noticing the spine and noticing that breathing, that awareness on the spine. Awareness on the spine, the awareness on both the spine and the breathing. Okay, yeah, and then just allow yourself to relax a little bit more into that. Okay, a little bit more. So you're doing good. I just want to get you down a little further, more into the rib cage. Okay. Okay, good. And then add that awareness of your skin level. So that starts to put a definition of the edge, the boundary of your physical body. That took me a long time to figure that one out, because coming from energy healing perspective and training, having done that and being aware, you know, we still have, this is our space too, but the way to really claim that space is to come in within the boundaries of the skin. That works a lot better. And we can be in that container of vessel that's contained, that's below the skin, and have that awareness and be aware of that space. Okay, so Kayla. Okay, and you're doing really well. I'm going to get you even more centered. Again, just really focusing even more strongly on spine, skin, around that. And especially with your head. So kind of pulling back into your head as you're doing that. So why I'm saying that is because what happens, I'll turn a little bit to the sides. What happens is a lot of times, especially when we're used to using our thinking a lot, is that people will come from here and go outside of themselves to notice something. So you're not, And kind of mentioned that to Diana earlier. So neither of you are doing that too strongly, but there's a little bit of that coming from, so you're actually coming outside of yourself. So coming back into the center of your head and moving your awareness down from the center of your head. So you're actually staying within yourself instead of going outside of yourself to look at yourself. So boom, like that. Going like this, down. Yeah, that's a lot better, Kayla. And Diana, you're doing great. Just don't question yourself too much. Just like, if you notice you're pulling forward, just kind of pull back in your head. Yeah. Okay. So Kayla, coming back to you. Feel yourself really strongly in. So you're doing really well. So I'm just kind of emphasizing that for you. Of being in, really in your spine from here. So dropping down from within. And from that place. So it's like that peripheral vision, peripheral awareness, where your strongest awareness. Hi, Beverly. Welcome. So we're just working with awareness of the body. So you can join us in by just becoming aware of that, of your breathing, getting into your breath and noticing your breath. I'm working with Kayla right now for a minute. So Kayla, yeah, let's get you. Okay. So with your peripheral awareness, so keeping yourself kind of really anchored, like your awareness centered on your spine, and noticing what's coming up in front of you. For now, just feel into it. And I think you've done this a little bit before, but let's just work with it together, and that'll kind of educate other people on the call too. So just feeling it out, just noticing what's there, how you would describe it, like what adjectives you would give it. Hey, Michelle, welcome in. We're working on just body breathe. So we're really working with the breath and noticing we're kind of just in the upper cavity of the body. We'll move everybody down before we get off the call because it's very kind of top heavy with the awareness. So Kayla, yeah, so bringing in those adjectives, like what adjectives would you use to describe what you're sensing in front of you? It could be anything. It doesn't matter what it is, but just notice. Everybody's working really hard there. This is really good, or just really hard, but in a good way. Putting a lot of effort here, so this is fun. Kayla, I'm going to come back to you in a minute, but just notice that. And so what I want you to do next is like kind of remember when you've had somebody else's energy in front of you that was coming into you, and what adjectives that you would have used, so comparing the two, because it's easier to compare. So comparing what that feels like now, and in the past when somebody's energy, not too far back, but just a recent, somebody's come into you, was in your space in front of you, and what that felt like. Okay, so Beverly and Michelle, let's get you into the game a little bit more here, and really working with that breathing. So noticing your breath, noticing your in-breath and your out-breath. Okay, let's take a nice deep breath in first, so I can feel a lot of stuff from hold it, and then release it out, releasing everything that is not absolute present moment, everything that came from before now. Just, yeah, there we go. Just the breath is a nice way to do that, And then just noticing your breath. Noticing the out breath and the in breath. Is it tight going in? Is it shallow? Is it stopped at the bottom? Is it Is there a pause in between? And just notice. You don't need to change anything. It's just noticing right now what's going on, to really bring ourselves into the present moment. And there's no way you can be doing this wrong. You're just noticing, you're becoming aware. So it's not supposed to be doing it a certain way. Even with the counting of the breath, it's okay if you want to count your breath, but don't make your breath follow the count right now. Just notice the patterning, the cycling of the breath. Okay, so Kayla, I'm wondering what you've noticed for yourself there. You've compared the two experiences and how they're different for you. How does this one feel compared to another time when you have brought in somebody else's? Is it the same? Does it feel the same? Does it feel different? It might feel a little different. It could be, if it's somebody that's coming into your space, it still could feel different because you've changed a lot, but there's going to be kind of a similarity. So if you can type in the chat and let me know what you're finding for yourself. Okay, Catherine, how are you doing over there? Feels empty in front of me. Feels brighter, slightly farther out, and that is what I feel coming into me. Usually it doesn't feel bright like this. Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, and so sit with that a little bit more. You got the space here, so it's nice you got kind of that group kind of being in that space of deeper awareness, and just feel, just kind of tune into that. I usually feel an essence of someone when they come in. Yeah, so I'm going to push you on that a little bit and just define what that, feel an essence, okay? So getting into the specifics of how that feels. And that's great. I'm not saying you're doing it wrong, but it's just that helps us to get more specific and understand better. Oh yes, okay, this is this is that, what I'm feeling. X, it's Y, it's Z. And that helps us to even be more concrete, more defined in ourselves. I'm relaxing, not sure if my shoulder is clear yet. Okay, come back into, it's like, sometimes, there's these patterns. I've had a pattern with my shoulder and neck, and it's like layer after layer after layer after layer. And I've got an interesting thing going on with my right shoulder, and it really comes up when I'm not centered. There's a little bit of, for when that comes in for me, there's this piece where what's on the right side is kind of the human level, external human level, and what's on the left side is more of that internal inner space for myself, connecting up with spirit, with my essence, all that. So there's like and coming into that center, so come into your spine, and it's like, okay, I'm not sure if the shoulder thing is good, just come into your spine. Yeah, there's still my sense is there's still some patterning for you going on your right side, not just your shoulder, but it's more of right side stuff that can connect to other things. I mean, that could also be my father, it could be mother, it could be a lot of different things, or masculine frequencies, or let's see, Beverly and Michelle. Let's come to you guys, back to you guys for a minute. Okay, Beverly, yeah, I feel like you've got a lot of run around in your head. So you're working hard on coming into that yourself, but it's sort of like there's this stuff going on in your head. So take a deep breath in, hold it, and then just release it. And as you release your breath, just imagine all that moving out of your head, moving out through your breath. Got a little bee here. Releasing out. And if you need to do that with every single breath, because there's a lot going on, I know you've got kids, so it's like that can come in. Sometimes we need to do that. For those of us who are sensitive at the mental level, we'll get information that way, non-physical information, as well as just physical world registering through our brains, brain processing. Sometimes it's good to just kind of keep doing that with the breath. Take a deep breath in, breathe into your head, hold it there for a bit, and just kind of visualize that the breath is just pulling in all that riffraff energy, as I like to call it. And on the out breath, see it releasing out. Yeah. So the visuals, when we do visualizations like that, can be really helpful for resetting at the subconscious level. So that's a little bit more the psyche, but that stuff can get in the way of really being able to go deeper within ourselves. So it's sort of like giving the pain body something to focus on, getting that automation system something to focus on. Okay, deep breath in. Okay, all those little thoughts, all that riffraff energy getting magnetized to the energy. I just breathe into my head and then releasing it all out the mouth. Yeah, Michelle, you're doing really well. You're kind of nice and solid there for yourself, so that's good. You could be going in deeper into your breath, so bringing your awareness down more, see if you can feel as much of your lungs. The lungs are big. They're underneath the, kind of the clavicle down to the bottom of the, not quite the bottom ribs, probably a little bit more like the bottom of the sternum. But that's a lot of the chest. That's your lungs right there. So can you feel your lungs all the way to the bottom there? There's a little bit of overlap with the liver. They kind of go around there. So imagining, another thing I mentioned earlier, I think before you guys got on the call, was breathing in, and as you breathe in, following the breath, feeling, like there's breathing in your essence and bringing that and feeling that, imagining that, visualizing that going all the way and filling up your lungs as you breathe in. And then holding it and feeling like all the residue just leaving out with the exhale. Okay, let's move down into the rest of the body. So Kayla, I didn't answer your question directly, but I think you answered your own self, and I wanted you to find that yourself instead of feeling. So I think you're on target. So let's move down. So still noticing the breath, but let's move into the lower abdomen for a minute. The intestinal area, that's a big intestinal cavity there. And that can get filled up with stuff, emotional stuff. So bringing your awareness down into that lower half of the abdomen. So everything below the ribs down to the pelvic floor. I am relaxing. Not sure if my shoulder is clear yet. Okay, so, oh wait, sorry, that just popped up. You had put that a minute ago. So breathing and with the breath, when you have your awareness down there, you'll feel like your belly is expanding. Hey, Laria. Well, we're jumping into the lower abdomen, so focusing on the breath. And really, so as we breathe in and have our awareness into that lower half of the abdomen, we'll feel that expand. So let's make this a little bit more three-dimensional for ourselves and focus in on the spine. And notice how everything around the spine expands. So there's the spine like this, and your whole belly is expanding. And there's some movement in the spine, but it's not as noticeable because of the belly's the front of the abdomen, the side is more pronounced. And see if you can, so some of you are kind of more at the top of your head, so kind of focusing here and kind of looking at it from above, which is fine. That's one way to do it. And see if you can also just let your awareness slide down from the top of your head, moving down into that lower abdomen. So almost like it feels like all your awareness is in there, and all around you where your awareness is, almost like your head is in there, it's expanding instead of seeing it from above. Just a different vantage point. Yeah. And you can also play with going back and forth. Okay, we're kind of shifting around a little bit, Laria. So come into your body and focus on your breathing here. And let me know what you're feeling for yourself first. So you can shift from bring your awareness back to the center of your head and notice that lower abdomen from the center of your head, not from the front area of the brain, but from the center. Notice what that's like. And then come down into your lower, let your kind of awareness just slide down, like it's sliding down the spine. So you can notice your spine moving down your spine. Noticing that movement of the abdomen in front of the spine. And if you're sitting back, sit forward a little bit so that your feet on your floor, that'll be a little easier. Got a little rain going here, very nice. And let's bring our awareness to our whole spine all at once. And let yourself really relax into your spine. So like you're kind of falling back, with your awareness just falling back into your spine. And if you notice a little bit different pulling on one side or the other, just notice that. So see if you can notice the movement, the whole movement of your abdomen. Okay, so you feel like you're a bucket with holes. So come in, let's come into that spine. And so the question is, what's making you give your power away? You know, what are you afraid of losing if you keep your power? It's like by giving your power away, you have bought something. So what is that thing that you've bought, that you've paid for by giving away your power that you're afraid of losing? So I pondered that for a little bit, for a minute. So coming into that spine and noticing the movement. So you can focus on your spine as you do this, so your mental mind has something to do, while at a deeper level that question to it, that answer to that question just comes up for you, Ilaria. But with the whole breathing of the spine, breathing of your, in the whole breathing mechanism, notice the whole spine and how the spine moves. The spine has a natural movement with the breath. And it's sort of a little bit of a rocking movement when you get into a really relaxed place. So if you feel like you're a little tense, you can say, okay, that's fine, a little tense now. You can even say your name. It's got an interesting impact when you do that. So, okay, Marianne, yeah, your spine's a little tight. So, Marianne, you can kind of just relax the spine a little bit. Just use your name. And notice as you breathe in and breathe out what that movement is. So it might be really slight, and it's literally needs to be relaxed all the way down to that pelvic area. The top of the head, those are two typical, like at the atlas, which is the first vertebrae, which is what the skull sits on. You know, there can be a lot of tension in that. So holding so your spine's not going. So, you know, just move your head a little bit. Okay, we can relax that. And same with the pelvic girdle. There can be a lot of tension there, also a lot of holding. That's keeping that movement. And when you feel into that movement of the spine with the breath, it's going to be like this little rocking movement. You know, allowing yourself to really breathe into that. And the more deeply you go into that, the more there's that relaxation that happens throughout the whole body into the brain too. That really helps to get the flow of the cranial sacral fluid to move through. It's basically through the spine and the cranial cavity, but it affects the whole body. So it's a little bit of this rocking. The head kind of tilts back, and the pelvic girdle tilts back. So both kind of going backwards and then both coming forwards. And so you might not feel it very much, but if you keep focusing on that and breathing into that, will help you relax even more. So, Ilaria, any sense of what that answer might be? You know, what have you paid for? And this is an interesting question for all of us, a way to explore an issue. Is like, okay, so by giving your power away, there's something you invested in, something you got something, you paid for something, and what was that? You know, was it you know, peace of mind? Is it a way to just like make everybody just leave you alone? Uh, maybe harmony of the group, because when I step into my power, then all hell breaks loose. Everybody just coming into the breathing. What is it? And it's another way to ask that question is like, what is it that I gain? What is it that you gain by giving away your power? You know, so when you realize that, it's like, okay, that's not really what that's not a real gain, but it is a great general entanglement with people in all areas of life. Okay, so that's one level. Ask the question again, because that's a very surface level thing. That's the result of what you've bought. What have you gained? Oh, yeah. So love. Yeah, Catherine, you can go into that a little bit more. Possibly love, like love. So giving up your power to get love, to get what you think is love, I would say more likely. So what was that definition of love? What was that about? So in general entanglement with people, Hilaria, is basically you're defining how you're giving away your power, but you're not really kind of getting into why you what you've invested in that. Mom's love, yeah. So moms, let's put that the conditional love, what you thought was love coming from mom, okay. You can kind of go into and get more specific with that in order to be accepted. So, okay, so being accepted, okay. So rejection. So to avoid rejection, in other words. So that's the key thing is you have paid with the currency of giving your power away. You have bought that not being rejected. Okay. So that's a really good one to realize. So let yourself sit in that face of that potential rejection for a bit and just sit with that, face it. I was like, okay, yes, makes sense. And everyone else, okay, mom's conditional love. So very good. So hopefully this is helping. So the rest of you, like Kayla and Michelle and Beverly and Diana, you know, kind of getting some understanding with that for yourself. So, okay, I'm doing this. This feels like shit now. You know, it's starting to really feel like shit because we've been doing something for so long. And at the time, it was so painful to have that rejection. You know, so that acceptance, to have that acceptance. So rejection, you know, Catherine, that might be another word to explore for you, because if you're not accepted, then there might be rejection there. And especially coming from mother, source of food, literally our source of food, survival. So if I don't get accepted by my mother, I will die. Yeah. Also rejection within yourself. Yes, that's true. It's coming from the outside. It's rejection from self. So great insights, Ilaria. So go into that rejection of yourself now. Yeah, because if you have that, If you're experiencing that on the outside, then it's that rejection on the inside. Yeah. So rejecting yourself, okay? So that basically means you don't know who you are. And what is causing you to reject yourself? So like good digging going on there. Okay, we're getting close to the top of the hour there. So a little bit of a different work session here, but also to I think it was good just to, you guys are kind of moving out of kindergarten, and so helping you to do a little bit more digging and getting support for that. Not getting and absorbing nutrition in the proper way. Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of, so you're getting into another issue. We'll come back to that rejection, because that feels like that's a little bit, you're kind of sidetracking on facing that rejection of yourself on that one. It's not to say that that's not an issue there, but it just feels like there's a little, facing the rejection is a lot harder than kind of exploring this one, not absorbing nutrition in the proper way. Yeah. And you might find that there is that rejection piece in that, behind that, at the core of that. Okay, so let's come into the full body, head all the way down to the bottoms of our feet. Feeling that breath filling up the whole body. As you breathe in, so there's going to be the lungs expanding. There's going to be a little bit of that movement of the spine. It's tied to nourishment and rejection. Yeah, so come into the rejection piece. Start with that, because that's the one I feel like you're having a harder time facing, getting to. And, start kind of like, what are all the ways that I've rejected myself? Kind of ponder that. Why have I rejected myself? What's made me reject myself? What is it inside me that's made me reject me? Let's end this programming. Let's change that programming. So feeling yourself, noticing your physical body, and feeling that rejection in there, and breathing into your physical body. It's like that rejection is not you. Your physical body is you, to kind of help to start creating that separation of the frequencies of your physical body and the frequencies of rejection. Okay, so breathing in to our full bodies, torsos, arms, feet, legs, hands, neck and head. Everything getting filled up. And as you're breathing, Ilaria, with that rejection piece, focus on the breath and let that physical response to rejection come through. So breathing into the body and becoming aware of the body as you're breathing will help to bring that up. What is your body doing that? And it might be just kind of this little energetic layer off the body as well that's impacting the body. So coming into the full breath of the full body. Okay. Very quiet on Diane's end there. But you're still in there. I still see you in there. Everybody's doing really well. So a lot more quiet now. Very good. You guys just focusing in, so that's good. And a lot more centered. It's like that you guys now just doing this little kind of focusing in on the breath, you know, clearing out that riffraff, so it's like a little bit more settled. Everybody's a little bit more settled. So really good. Okay, good job, everybody. So coming more into our being. Ilaria, keep working with that. So sit with this after we get off, and just let yourself focus in on that, and become aware of that rejection more and more. It's not that you haven't yet, but and really come into that core of your body, physical body. This is you. This is the real you. That response to the fear of rejection is not you. It's a response that got triggered a long time ago. That's still sitting in your nervous system. So by coming into the breath, and even focusing on your body, and just like, okay, let's just relax. That will help bring it out of the nervous system and the response. Okay, yeah. Yeah, thank you. You're welcome, Diana, and thank you for stopping by. So good job, everybody. And, very simple thing we can just take, even if you're just taking 5 minutes for yourself of coming into your breath and your breathing. Even if it's for just one breath at a time. In between you get home from work, put your stuff down, sit down in a chair, and just take one nice, big, slow breath. Inhale, exhale, really allowing yourself to notice that breath coming in, your body responding to the breath, really bringing your awareness in. And it's just one breath. Will do a lot to just bring you more into the present moment, more in shift. So, okay, good job, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. And in a couple weeks, we're back again. Take care, everybody.